would never be any kind of deal that would potentially cede territory to Russia. How realistic is that when you look at an area of land the size of Crimea, for example? An area of land that, in order to take control back of it militarily, would involve potentially billions more dollars worth of Western weapons and thousands of lives.
Any surrender of Ukrainian territory would mean the war would continue with greater intensity and on an even greater scale. You should not see Russia as an honest negotiating partner and sign legal agreements with it, believing it will be credible and honored in 2 or 3 years. Russia is expansionist, so it exists only by attacking other states. It attacks in various ways, using its energy resources, its military, migration, using food as a weapon. Ukraine can never sign a deal with Russia in this context. Therefore, the president clearly asked Western partners to participate in this war, because Ukraine doesn't have the military resources that Russia has. We want to finish this war the right way, and that means liberating our territories in full and re-establishing our sovereignty within internationally recognized borders.
Do you believe everything that Western leaders like President Macron, like Olaf Scholz, for example, say, giving you, certainly in rhetoric, wholehearted support? But when you look at the facts, we're looking potentially at a global recession, a global food crisis, rising inflation, huge challenges with gas supplies to Europe in winter. How long do you honestly think that the Europeans can continue this level of support?
Some countries' living standards are dropping because of the situation in Ukraine. But this is an all-out war, and it's happening on European territory. So of course some living standards are decreasing, because Europeans are indirectly involved in this war. They are paying for the expenses of this war. I understand they want to preserve their pre-war life and comforts, and nobody wants bad news. But if Russia gains more territory, it will think its tactics and strategy of humiliating other countries works, and it will continue blackmailing Europe.
What do you say to EU countries who say that you are not yet ready for EU candidacy status?
There are values that are worth living for, and Ukraine is proving on the battlefield that these values cost lives. They are European values. Secondly, I don't understand why EU candidacy cannot be seen as an opportunity for Ukraine to make the reforms we need for membership. Unfortunately, not every country understands this and is unnecessarily speculating that Ukraine is not ready.
In the villages that surround Kharkiv, the majority of residents fled the Russian advance. Their pets left behind in the Russian. Inside the medical clinic, a tank shell remains. 87-year-old Igor stayed. He recalls when Russian troops entered his home.
They said, "Granny, we are searching for a weapon. Granny is more than 80 years old. Where is she supposed to get the weapon?" They were jumping over the fences, breaking everything. I said, "Do you want to shoot me? Shoot. I'm not scared."
The Ukrainian soldiers accompanying us are on edge. We're told the village is mined, but it seems to be giving away troop positions, tactics, or anything that may cast a shadow over what's happened here. We can only get access to villages like this with a military escort, and we're told what we can and cannot film. The Ukrainians have managed to push out Russians from places like this, which means that Kharkiv city is now a little safer for its residents. A sight that would not have been possible a month ago. A third of the residents had left, the rest slept in shelters. No place in the city was considered safe. All that has now changed.
People are walking outside. We were at this park last week and it was empty. We thought we weren't allowed to be outside. Kharkiv is coming back to normal life. You can see that life is still going on. War is war, but we must live.
The constant sound of the city being pounded seems like a distant memory. The Russian military can still target Kharkiv with missiles, but they're too far out to shell it. Air raid sirens can still be heard daily, but residents are undeterred.
Kharkiv is quiet now, no shootings. Our soldiers are protecting us. Glory to Ukraine. I wish everybody would come back alive from the war and all Russian troops go back to their country and never come back. It's our Ukrainian land and we will fight for it.
Kharkiv is slowly returning to some semblance of normality, even if the war